All right, it's 7 o'clock. We'll get things started. Can everybody see my screen all right?
Yes.
All right, welcome everybody to another Monday with SEM. Very excited this week. We heard your responses in the feedback surveys about wanting to hear a little bit more about resume tips and tricks, hacking the interview, and things related to job market readiness. So this week we have Jane Evarian and Terri Garner presenting on these subjects. A little bit from our agenda today. So we've got some brief announcements, our job market readiness presentation, and our conclusion. So these announcements that I mentioned, November 15th is our last general meeting of the semester at 7 p.m. Same time and place as always with our SEM Alumni Panel. So this will be the past, present, and future of our SEM graduates. Come to ask them about their industry experiences while they were in college and what they're up to now. To be determined, we have a bake sale social. This will be a fundraising event for us. We'll also get an opportunity to socialize with each other, get these baked goods ready, and then sell them hopefully around Wells Hall or the EB. And then a new opportunity, the Engineering Society of Detroit, ESD, reached out to us via email and recruited us for an event on November 15th at 6 p.m., so before our general meeting, which will take place regarding networking. Couple other announcements. So as the semester kind of gets closer and closer to finishing, we'll be having some elections as some of our e-board members will be graduating this December and also starting to get ready for the spring as well. So if you're interested in elections or administration for this organization, make sure that you check that on the number 3 bullet point feedback survey at the end. This organization functions completely around our feedback, so we really want to encourage you to facilitate any experiences that you've had or anything you would like to see in those surveys that have the QR code at the end of each session. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Jane Evarian, who's the author of the Who Logic Method, to talk about the job readiness session for this week.
Thanks, Michaela. Good evening, Society for Engineering Management. It's good to see all of you. I don't see faces on Zoom. Would love to see your faces if you want to show them, but there you go. I love it. Great. Good. And then hello, everyone that's in person with Chloe. Good to see you all. So we've got kind of this hybrid delivery. We're going to make it work. I am excited to be here, excited that Michaela and the e-board are deeply committed to your professional development and are hosting this session this evening. Again, I'm Jane Evarian. I'm with the Center for Spartan Engineering. I'm kind of a newbie when I think about it. A couple of months ago, I was actually working with the College of Business, and I was part of their career services shop for several years. I worked primarily with graduate students, and I would say about 30 to 40% of them had earned undergraduate degrees in engineering. So I'm very familiar with engineering disciplines. I'm excited to be working exclusively with engineering students. That's a little bit about me. I'm also the author of Who Logic, which is the career education curriculum that the Center for Spartan Engineering is using. If you go over to our website, which we will do in a couple of minutes, you will see that we're really redesigning the Get Career Help section to very much focus in on using Who Logic, which is essentially this very nimble, easy to use valuation tool. It's just designed to help you uncover and promote the value of your skills and experiences in alignment with jobs and companies of interest. So that's a little bit about me. Joining me this evening, and I hope she takes a little bit of time toward the end to talk a little bit about great opportunities for you, is Terri Garner. She's with Jackson. Which formerly, I think of it in my brain because I'm old, I think of it as Jackson National Life, but it's now a Jackson, very large local company right in your backyard. amazing skill building and professional development opportunities for you. And hopefully Terri can take a few minutes at the end of our session and talk a little bit more about the strategic support program that she's affiliated with. Okay, so you know a little bit about me. I hope I'm going to find out a little bit about you. I have a lot of content for you this evening. And the reason I have a lot of content for you is managing your career is probably the most important and most complex project you will ever manage. So we have a lot to move through. There's a lot of content here. What I've tried to do is distill it in a way that's useful for you. But a lot of it, I'm going to ask that you come back to it. So I'm going to give you a lot of resources tonight. We'll dive in fairly deeply with resume design and interviewing, but for the most part, I'm going to give you guidance and resources and hopefully a step-by-step approach that really helps you manage the job search. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and pull up a slide deck to keep me focused, to keep us on track. I'm assuming you can all see my screen. Michaela, you're the first person I see. So sometimes I will say to you, hey, Michaela, can you see what I just did? And it looks like I got the great thumbs up. So we're in good shape. You are in the right place if you want to talk about using a project management approach to your job search. And again, I'm Jane with the Center for Spartan Engineering. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take, I don't know, 55 minutes, maybe 50 minutes now, and work through these things. So I would always be remiss if I didn't give you a little bit of an overview about the job marketplace. So we're going to spend just a couple of minutes talking about what does that weird nebulous thing, the job marketplace, really look like. We're going to talk about, I'm going to take you over to a Google folder. So I'll give you a link in a few minutes because I'm going to take you over to this job market readiness framework, which is a step-by-step guide to help you manage your job search. We're going to toggle back and forth between that Google folder and the Get Career Help portion of the center website. And then we're going to spend the rest of our time on resume design. I'm going to ask you to get a little interactive with me and have you work on some things. No pressure. It's really safe space. We're all in this together. And then we're going to talk about interviewing a little bit. And then I'm hopeful that Terri will talk a little bit about the strategic support program and again, the amazing skill building and professional development opportunities for you. So let's do this. Okay. So sometimes I have a lot of fun with PowerPoint. I'm pulling in pictures and all kinds of images. But what I want to do is draw your attention to, thinking about your job search. When you look for a job, you actually enter a marketplace, the job market. People talk about it all the time. Oh, what does the job market look like? What's happening in the job market? But I'm not sure we spend enough time really thinking about simply what it is. The job marketplace is just filled with buyers and sellers. I do not mean to dehumanize you. I'm not dehumanizing you. You're all amazing people, but essentially you're sort of a product going to market. So let's think about this for a second. The marketplace, the job marketplace, buyers and sellers. So who do you think the buyers are? Think about that for a second. Buyers are employers, they're companies. Sellers in this marketplace, the job marketplace, that's you. So buyers, they're buying your skills, the value of your experiences, and your potential to add value. So that's what they're looking for. They're looking for the value of your skills, experiences, and your potential to add value. And what are you doing? You're selling. You're selling the value of your skills, your experiences, and your potential to add value in alignment with the job and company that you're interested in. So there's a lot of valuation going on. Your resume, it's a valuation tool. When an employer looks at it, they're determining the value of your skills, your experiences, and how those things fit with the jobs that they're hiring for. It's a marketplace. So what does that mean? You have to get job market ready. That's what it means. And what I want you to think about is that this is a project. It's really easy to think, okay, I'm just going to take 15 minutes, put my resume together and just start applying for jobs. It's kind of a shotgun approach, and it doesn't always work because the job market is very sophisticated. There's this thing called an application tracking software that you usually apply to when you submit your resume, meaning that a computer is typically the first entity that's looking at your resume. And we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. But this is a very complex process, becoming market ready. So
Jane,
here's
can I
my,
interrupt for a moment?
yeah.
It looks like we lost the in-person group.
Oh no.
They said the internet just went down.
Oh no. Oh no. Okay. Uh-oh.
Campus has been having a bit of a struggle today.
Okay. Well, hopefully they'll get back to us.
Yeah, I don't want them to miss too much, as I think.
Yeah. And I don't want to go over to the Google folder without them. So maybe we just wait a second or two. Hang in there a little bit and see if we can get folks to come back. When did we lose them, Michaela?
I just got the text just 30
Okay.
seconds ago from Chloe saying that
Okay.
the internet went down. But I was in a Zoom meeting prior to this where I had friends in the dorms and in the engineering building, and they were complaining about the same issue.
Oh,
So,
wow.
something
That's unusual. You know, usually
at
the campus,
yeah.
that's really unusual.
We can use my laptop, Michaela.
Yeah, she's on a hotspot right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can just yeah.
How many people do you have in the room?
Like 6.
Okay, yeah, and you don't want to get too close together. So can you, yeah, I guess it doesn't make sense for, okay, we'll just do the best we can.
Right.
All right, let's do the best we can with this. Okay, so I talked a little bit about the job marketplace, buyers, sellers, right? Buyers are employers, sellers are you. You're selling your skills, your experiences, your potential to add value. You come together in this marketplace, and you start applying for jobs. I wish it were as easy as just putting together a resume in 10 minutes and just, hitting the submit button and apply. But there's a whole lot that goes into becoming market ready. Ooh, it looks like we're back. Are we back? On-site room? Yay!
Yes, we are.
Yay. Okay. All right. That's good to know. Okay. So what I want to do is, this is my fun little goofy, easy Kanban board. You project management people are probably very familiar with this, Scrum boards, that kind of stuff. But what I want to do is I want to take you over to a Google folder because that's where I have lots of resources for you. Again, lots of content tonight, but hopefully I've put it in a step-by-step approach that will work for you. So I am putting in the chat a link that I want you to follow. It's just a Google folder. So for those of you who are online, should be easy for you to get over to that folder. I've made it accessible to everyone. For those of you who are on site, you can just follow me when I head on over there. So I'm going to stop sharing, close the chat, go pull up my website. And come back to you as soon as I can. Okay, so this is what you should see. Michaela, do you see the my drive? Great, okay. So what I want you to do, ignore this sign in. Please don't go there. We don't need to do that. What I want you to do is I want you, for those who are online, I want you to open up the Word doc that's titled Market Readiness Job Search Checklist. Okay. So for those of you who are on site, you should be able to see this up on the large screen. And then Michaela has the link to this Google folder so that you can access it, so that you can get these resources and materials and have them available for you. Basically, all I'm doing in a written form is giving you a to-do list for your job market readiness. Again, the most important project you will manage in your career is your career, and yet we often don't give time to it, but it's incredibly important. So the first thing, I also have actually a career coaching practice on the side, so an independent career coaching practice. So when I work with my clients, they're no different than working with students. The first thing we do, because we take a very strong to-do project management approach with the job search, is we build a folder. We just create a folder because you have to track your progress. And we all know that tracking your project progress is a project management basic. So I always ask all of my clients, all students, create a folder and a subfolder. That's for all your self-marketing materials. Self-marketing materials mean things like your resume, cover letter versions, job postings, your company list, any networking activity. You throw it in this folder, and you need some subfolders as well. Here's one really, really, really important reason to create a folder. I can't tell you the number of clients I've had in the past and students who they get an interview and they want to practice an interview, and they say to me, and I say to them, well, send me the job posting so I can customize the questions for our practice. And then they'll say, I can't find the job posting. It came down, I can't find it. I don't know where it is. I've looked everywhere. I didn't keep it. Always keep job postings, copy and paste them in a Word doc or a Google Doc and throw them in your folder. Honestly, job postings come down all the time, and you really want to be able to practice interviewing using that job posting, because it's giving you skills, qualifications, responsibilities. So you're pretty certain that you're going to get questions that are connected to the job posting. Always create a folder. That's what this is. It is your sample career management folder. See, I've titled it My Career Management Folder. So in it, you can put your resume and cover letter versions. Maybe you're building out your written pitch. Yeah, you're gonna pitch in writing. Your LinkedIn headline and about section. Your about section is a written pitch. You might want to keep it in a folder. Any networking activity that you have. Look, I've already pre-populated some of this stuff. Resources for you in this folder. Job postings, yep, they go here. Any information you have on interviews, anything. Any career education resources, just general resources that maybe you pull from the internet or whatever. Keep a career management folder. Please promise me, everyone give me a thumbs up, clap, do something. Promise me that by the end of tonight, you will create your career management folder. Thank you. I can stop now. I'm just kidding. Okay. That's step one. You need your career management folder to track your progress. Step two is pretty sophisticated. It's your self-marketing part of this process. It's the written portion of your self-marketing, meaning resume design, cover letter development, and your LinkedIn and Handshake profiles, which are written pitches. You're pitching your skills, your experiences. This is all self-marketing stuff. It's really important because you're in a marketplace. What do we do when we're in a marketplace? We market ourselves. Okay. Let's say you need some guidance on resume design and it is 3 a.m. and you're saying to yourself, I don't know what to do. Well, that's what all these links are. So I'm bringing you back to the College of Engineering Careers website. And one of the things that we've done over the last month is we've built out resources for you. So you need to see sample resumes. You need some help on creating value points for yourself. You need action verbs to kickstart your value points, your bulleted value points on your resume. It's all here. You need help with cover letters. You need to see some cover letter samples. You want to see the difference between a narrative cover letter or a value point version cover letter. It's all here to help you. So resume design, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, you've got to upload your resume to Handshake, and you want to make it visible so employers can find you easily, find your resume easily. Don't know how to do it? Here's the link to help you. Again, cover letter design. LinkedIn and Handshake, please, please, please build a LinkedIn profile. Not sure how to do it? Need some help? There's a LinkedIn checklist. It's right here, guiding you through what do you need? All of the different fields and areas within LinkedIn and how to help you build a really powerful, persuasive LinkedIn profile. Same thing with Handshake. It actually has something similar. It's called My Journey. It's also a profile where you can include your skills, your experiences, your contact information. So it's really easy. It's one of the first things employers see when they open up your Handshake profile is the My Journey section. It's your pitch. Okay, so you've done all of this. You've got your career management folder, you've got your self-marketing tools in really good shape, your resume is great, you know how to write a cover letter as needed. Your LinkedIn profile, your Handshake profile looks good. Now it's time. So step 3, again, this is very much a project management approach. The to-do list, the to-do item for step 3 is to set up your job posting notifications. You want to be able to optimize these systems. They're pretty sophisticated and they can help you receive curated lists of jobs. Sometimes students or clients that I've had will say, oh my gosh, I'm getting all these jobs that don't match my profile. Well, that's because you have to set up your job preferences on LinkedIn. And you need to complete the My Career Interests section on Handshake. See, I've even given you handy dandy little completion dates so you can check these things off your list. Okay, career management folder, self-marketing materials in writing. Step 3, your job posting notifications. Get all of these things set up because this is what supports your job market readiness. Step 4, applying to jobs. I want to take a minute or two and nag you about this. Yes, I'm nagging. I know, it's so bad. I know, I'm going to be a nag. It's really bad, but I don't know what else to do. Okay. Applying for a job these days, it's very complicated. It looks really easy because you can go to LinkedIn, you can go to Handshake, you can go to Indeed.com, internships.com. There's all kinds of job postings. It's very easy to apply for jobs. The thing of it is, most of the time, most companies, 95% of Fortune 500 companies, by the way, use an application tracking software. I call it the bot. I love the bot. I don't love the bot, but the bot is there. And most of the time, the first entity that is reviewing your resume is not a human. It's a computer. And sometimes I scare people. Yeah, I know I'm scary sometimes. Sometimes I scare people and I say, do you want a computer to control your job search or do you want to control your job search? Most people say to me, well, I want some control over my job search. Yeah, you do. So if all you do when you apply to a job is use that portal and click submit, upload your resume and cross your fingers and hope that somebody's going to contact you for an interview. It's tougher and tougher for that to happen. So much of it has to do with the fact that there is so much volume, so many resumes that the human resources people receive, that they're relying on the bot to do the first review. So there are two strategies that are really important when you apply for a job. You've got to do keyword matching. It almost looks like this. Watch my hands. This, my left hand represents the job posting. You see the responsibilities of the job, the skills are listed here, the qualifications. My right hand, this is your resume. You want to make sure you pull enough keywords from the job posting and put them in your resume. You do not lie, because that won't work. Don't lie. But you know, there may be some skills that are listed in a job posting that you know you have. They're just not on your resume right now. Create a skills section and then just pull over those keywords from the job posting to your resume, because that's all the bot can do, is look at that matching between the words that it's programmed to look for and what's on your resume. That's strategy number one, keyword matching. The other strategy is fast networking. That means go to LinkedIn, find a Spartan who works at the company, reach out. Hey, fellow Spartan, I just applied for a job at your company. I would love to chat with you for a few minutes and get some advice. Hit the connection request button. If they accept your connection request, try to see if you can chat with them for 10 or 15 minutes. Pitch your skills, pitch your experiences. If the vibe feels good, if they seem like they want to help you, they're willing to help, they're kind to you, you could ask for a referral. It's actually really hard for companies to find talent. So help increase the chances of converting your application to an interview by using these two strategies, keyword matching and fast networking. The other thing in my nagging, yes, I'm still here nagging. I really want you to watch the Beat the Bot video. It's 15 minutes. That's it. It teaches everything you need to know about applying for jobs in 2021 and how to beat the bot. 15 minutes. That's it. So when you watch it, you can click off that you're Beat the Bot ready. You know how to do this. You know how to apply for jobs in the public job market. So we talked about self-marketing in the written form. We talked about job search notifications. We talked about applying to jobs and beating the bot. The other thing you're going to need to do is you're going to have to verbally pitch. I know. You're going to go into an interview and the interviewer is going to say to you, tell me about yourself. You're not going to talk about how you love to eat ice cream and water ski. You should talk about the skills that you have that are relevant to the job and the company. Talk about your degree, talk about the clubs that you're involved with and what you're learning. Talk about how you're excited about that company and the job. Yeah, you're going to have to verbally pitch. You do it at career fairs, recruiting events, networking conversations. Not sure how to verbally pitch? You can go to this link and you can look at a verbal pitch sample. Interviewing, we're going to talk about it in just a few minutes. The chapter in Who Logic dedicated to interviewing is really important for you to read. You need to be interview ready. You can also practice interviewing using Interview Stream. I'm like the lead person for the center. So whenever somebody uses Interview Stream and they finish one of our customized practice interviews, I review it. I send you feedback. I use a rubric just to help you with all of this. Lots of resources for you to practice interviewing. Again, it's another step in your job market readiness. And then, oh my gosh, you think it's never going to happen, but here comes the offer. And usually when one offer comes, more will come as well. You need to know how to manage these offers. You might want to learn how to negotiate salaries. You might want to learn how to request an extension for an offer deadline date. All of that stuff is sitting right here. It's all right here. Almost the entire Who Logic book is sitting here in the Get Job Market Ready page under Get Career Help. It's all right here. So your step-by-step process is on this document that is sitting in this career management folder. You can access it at any time. You can work on your job search at 2 a.m. because we are a 24/7 available resource to you, mainly because of what we've done on our website. Okay. So I've given you some resources. You've got the link to find this. Let's come back. Let's dive in deep. Let's go take a look at resume design. It's one of my favorite things to talk about. Before we do that, does anybody have any questions? Any questions from anybody? Are you sleeping? Okay, give me a thumbs up if you are not sleeping. This is awesome. Because I often feel like Charlie Brown's teacher. I don't know if you, your generation might not remember Charlie Brown, but I know Terri will. And the teacher would be like, wah, 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 wah. Sometimes that's how I feel. I know I'm giving you lots of good content. I hope I'm not giving you too much. Do you now feel like you actually have a step-by-step approach? Do you feel like you could use that market readiness document to help you? Good, I'm seeing some head nodding. I think there might be something in the chat. Yes, okay, great, good. So let's move on. Let's talk about resume design because it's super fun. I love resume development. You're a small group, so please know if you would like me to take a look at your resume, I would love to hear from you. You can just send me an email, my last name, Evarian @msu.edu. I invite you. You can easily send me your resume. I'm happy to take a look, give you some advice, some insights. Resume design is super subjective though. You know, you could put Terri and I together in a room and we might have different things to say about your resume. Here's the one thing I believe is true about resume design. It's really about highlighting the value of your skills and experiences. It's your marketing document. In marketing, this thing is called a sell sheet. Yes, sell sheet. Yeah, because you're the seller, right? Okay, so basic resume design, we're not going to talk about formatting or anything like that. I've got this resume, this sample resume. It's one of many samples that you can find on our website. It's pretty basic. Here's the thing I would recommend. You want to actually have a pretty basic resume, not a lot of formatting or templating. Don't use tables, don't use graphs, because the application tracking software, you know, the bot, sometimes gets confused by heavy graphics. So be careful, use a basic Word document. If you want to create a beautiful, pretty, you know, resume that's got color and tables and, you know, graphics, that's great. Have a version like that if you want it. But I would only use it if I were sending it directly to a human, like a pretty version. Because the application tracking software could get confused. So this is a basic version. You know, you're going to put your name. Nobody puts their street address anymore. It's just city and state, your email address, phone number, your LinkedIn URL is good. You can use a positioning statement, you know, like this, our first, second year engineer is saying they're leveraging quantitative and technical skills combined with a commitment to integrity and team, seeking an internship position to learn while adding value. Nice, highlighting some skills and also talking about what they're looking for. Education, pretty standard. You know, after you're finished with your first year of college, you really don't need high school anymore. It's pretty clear you completed a high school degree. So you can, you know, at some point you can let go of that. You can list all kinds of experiences. Look, this person is including babysitting. Don't undervalue any of your experiences. It's easy for a young person to do that. But look at, this person is entrusted to take care of children. That's like huge. That means they can be trusted on the job with serious stuff. There's some involvement here. So your clubs, organizations, that's important. Technical skills. This is that section that I'm talking about. You could just label it skills. If you see a job posting that's listing a skill or a qualification that you know you have, but currently isn't on your resume, it's so easy just to pull a skill over in your skill area. Very basic. Okay. This is where Who Logic comes into play. I don't call the bullet points on a resume bullet points. I refuse to use that language. I call them value points because I'm always looking for the value of the experience. And what I want to help you do is, if you're not doing it already, is to create resume value points. And you can do that using Who Logic. Who is super easy. So all you need to do is choose experiences to include on your resume. That can be jobs, part-time jobs, internships, co-op, volunteering, club membership, course projects. Just working with one of your colleagues the other day who has these really cool course projects, not on her resume. Well, they are today, but they weren't before, and they're very leverageable, especially when you're early in your program. Research, study abroad. And then you're going to choose tasks or projects from each experience that have the potential to demonstrate value. And Who Logic, again, super simple. What did you do? The task that you were involved with. How did you do the work? What skills did you use to get the work done? What technical tools? What strategies? And then the outcome produced from the work. The contribution to the organization. Sometimes the outcome is your enhanced learning. And outcomes can be intended or they can be actual. Both count. So let's take a look at some sample value points. Here's a person, literally this person worked at a restaurant, like a mom and pop restaurant, just, you know, a local restaurant in East Lansing. And they were responsible for social media. And that's what their resume said, responsible for social media, but who cares? That's just what this person did. Where we find value is in the how and the outcome. So what I'm doing here is color coding. This person built the social media presence at this local restaurant. How did they do it? In blue, they used coupons and time-sensitive campaigns, and they deployed Google Analytics. See, there's some really good skills here. What was the outcome? Well, the intended outcome was to measure traffic. So they have two outcomes, to measure traffic and an actual outcome. They increased sales by 25% within 6 months of launch. Here's another one. This is from an internship. This is before Who Logic. So this just lists what this person did. They analyzed food insecurity data for urban centers across the United States. Again, I'm going to say to you, who would you bring in for an interview? The person that lists what they do, or someone that can talk about how they got the work done, skills used, and the outcome associated with the work. So they analyzed food insecurity data using a federal database. Okay, that means they can do research using a database and advanced Excel formulas to pinpoint risk factors. They developed 12 recommendations for 53 urban centers across the United States. So you tell me, in the two examples that I showed you of bullet point versus value point, who would you bring in for the interview? Is it the one who wrote a bullet point just listing what they did? Or is it someone who's taken the time to reflect on the value of the experience? Yeah, it's always the person who's written a value point. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to write your own value point. I'm going to stop talking. I know. So I want you to pick a task or a project. Yep, if you have something to write on, or, just pull up a doc, whatever. I want you to list a task or a project. Michaela, list your leadership position with SEM, something that you're working on. And then sometimes if you insert these helper words, it can help you get to the how. So in our previous example, built social media presence, using coupons and campaigns, using Google Analytics. Sometimes if you use those helper words, either by or using, it can help you get to the how. And then to get to the outcome, just that little word to do what? To measure traffic, to increase sales 25% within 6 months of launch. Sometimes your to is easy to come up with if you just ask yourself, why did I do this work? Why did I do this task? So I'm going to stop talking, believe it or not, for about 3 minutes. And I want you to write a value point. We've got about 1 minute left. If you've finished a value point, doesn't have to be perfect, throw it in the chat, type it in the chat. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. And for those of you who are on site, share your value point with other folks around you. All right, Michaela, thank you. Presided over demand planning analytics using Python, Power BI, and advanced Excel pivot modeling to implement an optimized approach to business unit shipment over forecasting data display. That's great. That's fantastic. I see what you did. Look at all of those skills and tools in there. Great, fantastic. We might need to tighten it up a little bit. That's one thing about WhoLogic. It can go sideways, too many words. But that's where you get some good editing from our career peers who can help you from our full-time staff. Looks like we've got another one in here. This is from a summer internship. Thank you, Haley. Designed and implemented a fresh social media presence on Facebook and Instagram using learned skills in IT, graphic design via Canva, and consumer behavior to reinvent the website. Fantastic. See, I see the value of these experiences. Yep, Vanessa's got worked as a project leader by working with the mainline integrity group and using group standards to efficiently assess and repair damaged assets. Perfect. These are really great value points. You're doing very good work here. You know, a little bit of editing, tightening down the language a little bit, because the one thing we don't want to do, I never liked value points that become 3 or 4 lines long on a resume. I like to keep them at 2 lines or less. And resume language is so interesting. You can actually remove words like, often I'll see words like in order to. You can take out in order, you don't need it. Sometimes we remove the word the. There's a lot of ways that we can become more concise with our value points. The ones you've shared are fantastic. Keep working on that. Great stuff. And I want to share with you any questions about building value points. Anything coming in through chat? Hang on just a second. Stop sharing. Go back. Okay. I'll go to my slideshow. There we go. Okay. So here's the thing about WhoLogic. It's not just for resume design. You can use it to create a value proposition. What's a value proposition? I don't know. It's your mission statement. It's your personal mission. I'm a career design strategist who uses empathy, creativity, and WhoLogic to help people become market ready and advance professionally. That's my value proposition. It's on my LinkedIn about section. You can see my value proposition all over the place. It's on my resume. You can use WhoLogic for cover letters, for pitching, again, LinkedIn, networking. It's all about helping you build a valuation mindset, which is the ability to uncover, articulate, and leverage your value, not just to get a job, but to manage your career over the lifetime. So lots of utility with WhoLogic, and really almost the entire book is sitting on the center website. So I want to talk about, just for a few minutes, I want to talk about interviewing, because the one thing, you know, I showed you that little scaffolded how to use, you can use WhoLogic for all of these different market readiness tools, but WhoLogic is integrated. It's an integrated approach to helping you become market ready. And I want to show you what that looks like when we talk about interviewing. So when you interview, you'll get all kinds of questions, questions that you're not sure about, you know, you don't know where they're coming from. But generally speaking, interview questions, you get technical questions, you get behavioral questions. Those are very common. You will get common interview questions like, what are your strengths and weaknesses? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? All kinds of questions will come your way. One of the things that we have on our career website is a list of sample interview questions. But basically the way that you use WhoLogic is you can use it as a response framework. So when you get a question like, tell me about a time you took initiative. Okay, well, what was the situation? Or the challenge or the opportunity. But you have to give the context. And that's where spending so much time developing your resume is super important, because your stories often come from your resume. You can use resume value points to share the situation. How did you handle this situation? What skills, methods, technical tools, attitudes did you use to get the work done, to take care of the situation? And then what was the outcome produced? And here's the thing with interviewing, how is the most important thing that you're sharing, because that's your skills, the methods that you're using. And remember, employers are buying your talent, and it usually has a lot to do with your skills. Okay, the value add is important, the outcome is important, but it's really very much around your skills. This is a sample of answering a question. Tell me about a time you took initiative using WhoLogic. And what I want to remind you of pay attention to this. Okay, if you've zoned out, zone in for a second. When we looked at that resume value point, where the person built the social media presence using coupons and Google Analytics, and they increased sales by 25%. Tell me about a time you took initiative. This is the story. Here's what the situation was, or the opportunity, if you want to think about it like that. Yeah, this person, while I was working as a delivery driver at a local restaurant, I noticed the restaurant wasn't using any social media. So I pitched this idea to the owner. Okay, then how did we do this? Okay, I onboarded Instagram and Facebook. I used Google Analytics. I created campaigns. I used the campaign tracking feature to help determine the impact social media campaigns had on restaurant orders. I impacted the menu, all kinds of things. And the outcome was that sales increased. Okay, here's the thing. Do you see this is a story? It's about answering a question. Tell me about a time you took initiative. Tell me about a time you demonstrated leadership. Give me a thumbs up if you think this story could work for that question. Yeah. Tell me about a time you demonstrated an entrepreneurial mindset. Tell me about a time you were creative. Tell me about a time you used data to help create an idea or to make a difference. Do you see all the different ways you can use this story that was a value point on your resume for a multitude of interview questions? That's why you want to write a value-centered, evidence-based resume. Yeah, it's your sell sheet. It's your marketing tool, but it's also your talking tool. Okay. The other thing I want to share very quickly, because I want to give Terri a few minutes. A lot of students and clients will ask me, okay, how long should my response be? Like, how much time do I have when I respond to a question? It's usually somewhere around 2 minutes. And the more experienced you are, like if I'm working with a mid-level client, mid-level professional, 10 years in their career, it might be 2 minutes, but for you all, it's usually around 2 minutes. And here's the thing, this is our who wheel. You want to spend about 30% of your time talking about what the situation was, what the context was. Then 55% of your time is talking about how you got this work done. And then you close the loop with an outcome. The biggest problem I see most people have is they get stuck in the what. They spend too much time talking about what the situation or the context was. Don't do that. Make sure you're highlighting how you got that work done, how you solved the problem, how you took on that opportunity. Okay. Okay. Employers will talk about STAR. They will often say to you, use the STAR method. Practice STAR when you're getting ready to respond to our interview questions. You hear that a lot. STAR is very common, but it's not any different than who. In fact, ever since I've been using who, probably 15 years now, most folks will tell me it's easier to remember who than it is STAR. They get kind of tripped up between the situation and task. So this is my way of showing you that STAR and who are very similar. Situation and task is really asking you to think about just what was the problem, the situation, the opportunity. The action is how did you take care of it? And then results equals outcome. So when you hear STAR, it's okay if you use STAR, that's fine. But if who is easier for you because you used it for resume design and maybe you used it for some other things, it's okay to use who. Okay, I've taken way too much of your time. Do you have any questions for me? No, do you feel like show me in chat. I want you to type in, and I want those of you who are on site, I want you to type in one thing you learned or something that you're going to do to control your job search. Beat the bot. Yes, watch that video, please. It will really help you. Okay, ditto, ditto, it looks like. Yeah, I learned how to demonstrate value instead of simply saying what I did. Yep, make my value points more concise and to the point, prepare a verbal pitch. Yep. And you know that you can just go to this link, grab that Google folder. Yep, create a folder for career management. Thank you, Colin. All right. That's all I have for you, but I know you don't want to leave yet. We still have a few minutes, and I want to give Terri a little time. When she shared with me what's available for students through Jackson, I thought, oh my gosh, I would be knocking on her door loudly if I were all of you. Please, Terri.
Okay, thanks, Jane. Oh my gosh, you guys, everything that Jane shared with you tonight is so amazing. And from the buyer perspective, because I represent Jackson and I'm looking to buy great MSU talent to work at the zone, she hit the nail on the head with the resumes, with, interviewing and the who. I love how you lined up who to star. I think it makes a lot more sense. And I just want to throw in a quick note that I met Jane through networking. So networking is invaluable. You never know who will be able to introduce you to the next opportunity. So don't burn any bridges. Practice your elevator speech or pitch. But enough about that. And the resources that are online through the College of Engineering are amazing. But I work for the Jackson, the Strategic Support Program, and we love MSU students. The Strategic Support Program is a job, and you do processing, but we basically do a lot of career development as you work for us. And in fact, can you all see this? When I get to meet Jane in person, she's going to autograph this for me. I love this book. It is amazing, and you all need to buy it and have it. And it should, these pages should all be dog-eared because you're in it so much, referencing it. It's an amazing book. So I teach her methodology because I think it is the best methodology I've ever seen. But working as an SSA, you work part-time and you do data entry and processing. But working at Jackson is like working for an internal staffing agency. And we look for opportunities to showcase our SSAs within our departments or business units. Excuse me. So, for example, applied engineering science students, because of Tableau and MATLAB and all those things, we use those at Jackson. So we have short-term and long-term assignments where somebody says, we need an SSA who can do this. So it's a great opportunity to leverage your knowledge and skills that you're learning. It is a phenomenal opportunity to network. And then we invest in you. We pay you to go to professional development training. So we host a resume writing workshop. You step away from processing, you still get paid as if you were processing, and you learn resume skills or critical thinking or things like that. So, at Jackson, our associates, our employees are our number one asset. So why wouldn't we invest in them with professional development opportunities? The program, the Strategic Support Program, is a future talent pipeline for Jackson. So I've been there. I've been at Jackson for almost 10 years. First 5 I spent there as a recruiter, and I will basically say beat the bot is the game. Leverage LinkedIn, look for people, alumni, just like Jane said, So I worked there 5 years, and then I came over to the strategic support program because of the fact that it's like an internal staffing agency, and we do need to keep replenishing it with great talent. So did I miss anything, Jane? Is that good enough?
No, that's great. I mean, I just think the skill building opportunities that are
You're on
available-
mute.
Oh.
There you go. There you go. No, you're fine now. I can hear you now.
Okay, I just think the skill building opportunities that are available in essentially the backyard, because you're right there local, it's just phenomenal for students. So I would encourage them. Are you open to having students just reach out to you, and could you throw your email address in chat? Uh-oh, you're on mute.
Yeah, I'm throwing it in the chat right now.
Right.
But if you just wanted to ask questions about it, or, hey, I'm interested, I want to apply, what do I do? I'm happy to answer any and all. And there's my email address. And I'd love to connect with you on LinkedIn. I'm already connected with Michaela.
Yes, thank you both so much for coming tonight and being involved with SEM. We really appreciate it. This, as I mentioned, was a topic that I think a lot of our membership wanted to hear more about. I'm sure you'll have quite a few emails about how do I really implement Who Logic? How do I do this? How do I do that? Or at least I hope so from our membership. But we really appreciate you coming out. And I think we are right up to 8 o'clock. So thank you to all of our attendees tonight as well.
Yeah, thanks so much. Everyone stay safe, take care.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you.